Hello, welcome to Midday News. I am Franco Malape, and here are some of the reports we're filing at this time. Nigeria's President-elect Muhammadu Buhari says he is in full support of the steps taken so far by the Nigerian government to protect the country's citizens from the wave of xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Buhari, who made these statements in Abuja, says Nigeria's head of mission in Pretoria had taken the right steps by advising the Nigerian community in South Africa to close their shops, stay home and keep out of trouble while ensuring that they obey the laws of their host country, making allusion to efforts made by the South African government to curb the situation. He advised Nigerians in South Africa to, in the meantime, abide by the words of caution extended to their representatives in South Africa. Buhari also commended the Nigerian government for its decision to monitor the situation in South Africa and evacuate its citizens at any sign of escalation. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party has described as provocative and completely unacceptable the xenophobic attack on Nigerians and other foreign nationals in South Africa. PDP National Publicity Secretary Ole Sametu, in a statement, says the attacks were outrightly barbaric, primitive, and cannot be justified under any guise whatsoever. Metu went on to say it was unfortunate and disheartening that South Africans, by this attitude, have shown that they are not appreciative of the roles played by Nigeria and other African countries in liberating their nation from the clutches of the obnoxious apartheid system. He said while the PDP was aware that the unfortunate incident was a fallout of incendiary utterances by certain leaders in South Africa, he called on the ruling African National Congress and South African government to take urgent practical steps to stem the tide and guarantee the safety of lives and property of Nigerians and other nationals targeted by xenophobies. And now the Nigerian Union in South Africa says it has concluded arrangement to resettle the 50 Nigerians affected by the ongoing xenophobic attacks. The president of the Union, Ikechukwu Aniyen, disclosed in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria via phone. Aniyen says about 300 Nigerians were displaced at JP's town, close to Johannesburg. He also revealed that the union has presented relief materials to those affected by the attacks. They are in touch with various branches of the union in the provinces on their safety and security. According to Aniyen, Nigerian shops and businesses in Durban and Johannesburg have been looted and some burnt. He says 2 shops belonging to Nigerians in Durban were looted and the lost goods worth over 400,000 rand. Aniyen reiterated the union's call to the federal government to put more pressure on the South African government to halt the attacks. And following mysterious death in the community in the neighboring Ondo State, Ogun State Commissioner for Health Ola Okunsoyinka has assured residents that there is no cause for alarm in the state. He says the state had put on the alerts the state disease surveillance and emergency response teams. Soyinka further explained that the residents of the state living in border areas with Ondo State had been advised against traveling to affected places. He says the 2 teams had maintained close contact with the Ondo State authorities. No fewer than 17 people had reportedly died during the week as a result of a mysterious disease which broke out today in Ondo State. The symptoms of the deadly disease are said to be sudden onset of lost vision, headache, loss of consciousness followed by death, all within 24 hours. It was reported that blood tests were being carried out on collected samples of the victims to ascertain if the death had been caused by ingested poisons or other infectious agents. Soyinka said the disease surveillance teams put together by the state governor Ibikule Amosu during the outbreak of Ebola disease have been put on full alert. Meanwhile, a high chief of Odo-Irele, Ondo State, Moses Enimade, says the recent death of 20 youth in the town was caused by sacrilege done to Moloku, god of the land, rather than any disease. Addressing journalists, Enimade, the next in command to town's monarch, Oba Cornelius Olariwaju, debunked reports that the deaths were caused by a strange disease or the dreaded Ebola virus. Instead, he said some stubborn youth broke into the inner room of Moloku Shrine of April 15. He says Moloku is a deity of the land. Only the chief priest and High Chief Bogorua are qualified to enter the shrine. He says he could not remember the last time Maloku or any other god had to strike like this without its own culture and tradition. He says, Enimadi says, unless the gods are appeased, people will still die and they will be buried according to the tradition. And now the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State has boycotted the House of Assembly rerun elections in 4 local government areas. Candidates who contested the April 11, 2015 House of Assembly elections on the platform of the APC say they are not interested in the rescheduled poll. The Independent National Electoral Commission had rescheduled election in 6 constituencies of 4 local government areas where the elections were adjudged inconclusive. Leader of the State House of Assembly, Chidi Lloyd, had told journalists in Port Harcourt that the boycott was in line with a court injunction at the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, and restraining INEC from conducting the election.
We hereby renew our call to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission to suspend the proposed elections at their court proceedings pending in the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, seeking to stop the elections. We believe that INEC, having been served the court processes on the 16th of April 2015, wants to ridicule the court and bring the court to contempt by going ahead, should they go ahead to conduct elections when such has been challenged in court. There are no national and international observers available to monitor the elections to ensure that they are credible, free, and fair, as they have withdrawn from their roles and left the state in the wake of horrible violence, bestiality, and disgraceful electoral malpractice recorded on the 28th of March and 11th of April 2015 respectively. To worsen this situation, there has been no official communication by INEC to us and our party, the All Progressive Congress, about the so-called elections due to be supervised by Mrs. Gesela Khan, whose handling of the recent elections have been most disgraceful and controversial. We firmly believe that exposing our good people of Rivers State to further violence in the name of fresh elections is not in the interest of the electorate we are ready to serve.
Meanwhile, the rescheduled Oriomo constituency 2 election conducted in Edo State was boycotted by the People's Democratic Party as the All Progressive Congress had a field day. The PDP pulled out of the exercise over alleged compromise by the Edo State Resident Electoral Commissioner Mike Igini. The election was conducted in 12 units in 4 wards of the constituency and amid high security. These APC party agents, however, commended the smooth process while observing the absence of the PDP agents.
The aggregation committee started 8:02 in the morning. At about 1 this afternoon, we stopped. So we're about to start voting. The exercise is going on smoothly, no problem, no fighting. All the parties that are here, APC, there are some one PDP member that is here. You know, so we are all doing it smoothly. At the end of the day, we'll know who will win.
I vote here. This is my community. So the voting, as you can see, is going on peacefully. Everything is in order, well arranged. You don't see any person, any divisions among us. All parties are here completed. So after the accreditation now, the voting properly want to take place. The PDP asked their agents and voters to withdraw. They withdraw out of this election. So since they withdraw, the other parties can continue with their vote. That's why we are here. It was supposed to be 2, which is the PDP. So since they asked them to go out of the field, they went out. Nobody so the only go out. The government.
Ogun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party says it is heading for the election tribunals to challenge the victory of the ruling All Progressive Congress in the governorship and House of Assembly election in the state. The party chairman in Ogun State, Adebayo Dayo, insists the PDP governorship candidate, Gboyega Isiaka, won in the governorship election, alleging that the APC rigged the poll by manipulating the scores at the collation centers. In response, the APC has debunked the allegations through the Director General Senator Bikuli Amosis campaign organization, Bode Mustafa, who described the allegation of rigging against the APC as unfounded. Mustafa insists the PDP's governorship candidate, who had declared himself winner before the election was concluded, should be questioned. In his response, the Ogun's resident electoral commissioner, Timothy Bitoye, claims Isiaka's allegations were untrue. You're still watching CoreTV News at Media. We'll take a break now. I'll be back with more stories after this time out. Join us again.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Glad to have you back now. For more information on news and other programs, like our Facebook page is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News IG. And for live streaming now, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. Now, with the approach of the incoming administration, civil society groups and many Nigerians have called on the newly elected politicians to live up to their campaign promises and serve the electorate that have voted them into power. A university don and coordinator of Muslim Media Watch Group of Nigeria, Abdullah Ibrahim, has cautioned the newly elected legislators in Kwara State to discharge their duties. With the new democratic administration about to kick off, Nigerians look forward to fulfillment of promises made by politicians who courted the electorates for months ahead the 2015 general elections. Hence the call by political stakeholders, civil society groups and the academia wants the elected political officials to keep their promises made to Nigerians as they come into office. A university don, Ibrahim Abdullahi, has cautioned newly elected houses of assembly members across the country to drop personal interests and make the laws, which is the primary objective of being elected as legislators. As intermediaries between the government and the people, he asked the lawmakers to make laws that will favor the masses and not their personal, political, or financial interests.
When issue arises, they should ensure that the people of the constituents are taken along so that they take their mandate before they speak in the legislature. They should cooperate with the state government to achieve its program. However, they should stand firm as representative of the people to ensure that people are well taken care of. So when budgets are presented into the state legislature, members of the House of Assembly should ensure that whatever is presented, if it's for the welfare of the people, it is approved.
Ibrahim also encouraged the opposition to make constructive criticism with appropriate evidence to make the government to do the right thing at the right time.
The opposition is to see where the government is performing well and commend them, where they are not doing well to criticize them objectively. There is still opposition. If the opposing political parties that are not in power, if they do well, it will make the government that has been chosen to perform very, very well. Not until when you get to the government or when you are inside government before you do your duty to the people. By you criticizing government objectively on the areas in which they are lacking, people will commend the opponents for that. And I believe those who are in power to be able to see it, that these people actually love this state. They love our people, and that's why they are criticizing us on the areas of that demands improvement.
With these calls for a people-centered governance, Nigerians look forward to the promises of the incoming administration to deliver. Reactions have continued to trail the withdrawal of the transformer gifted to residents of Sabo community in Ibadan by the PDP governorship candidate Teslim Folarin 24 hours after the date of election. The act is, however, fixed with allegation and counter-allegations as to what led to the incident. Our correspondent Omota reports.
The controversial transformer episode in Sabo community has not stopped generating reactions from residents who frowned at the act of uninstalling something that was already given out to the community. Residents blamed the candidate for political recklessness and selfishness, describing him as an untruthful and power-hungry candidate. But Teslim Folarin, who reacted to the allegation on social media, says he never gave any instruction to retrieve the transformer he gave to the community, even though he was poorly voted for in the vicinity. More so, a stalwart from Folarin's party in the community, Mukhtar Abdul Inka, says the act was carried out by one of the closest aides of the candidates within the community and was not sure if Folarin was informed before the act took place.
His members that took the transformer, you should blame them, his members, because there is winner, there is loser. If he exercises a patient one day, if God said that you become a governor in this Oyo state, you will become. Because there is no permanent enemy in politics, no permanent prince. And again, there is no opportunity without opposition.
According to the community leader, the retrieval of the transformer made a lot of youth angry that even after an hour when instructions came for the transformer to be reinstalled, it was a joint agreement from members of the community to reject it.
The transformer does not belong to me. It does not belong to the Hausa community only. It does not belong to Yoruba or any ethnic group. It belongs solely to God Almighty, because we started it at the Sabo Central Mosque, not for the Hausa community. So the transformer meant that it wanted to serve God Almighty, not me, not any of my aides. So it was donated to God and it was taken away from God.
Meanwhile, the incumbent governor who won the governorship election in the state, on hearing the incident, donated 2 new transformers that are bigger than the one earlier donated. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
Electricity workers in Kaduna State are bracing for an indefinite strike from Thursday, April 23. This is when the 2-week ultimatum set by the Northwest Chapter of the National Union of Electricity Employees expires. Officials of the Kaduna Electricity Company are, however, taking steps to prevent the workers from plunging the state into darkness. Our correspondent Amina Anebi report is presented from our studios.
Members of the Electricity Workers Union in Kaduna State have been staging a peaceful protest ahead of the 23rd of April date set for a strike. Union claims that the management of the Kaduna Electricity Company has been insensitive to the plight of its members. The protest leader maintained that the workers had not been getting their dues.
Kaduna, in the electricity distribution company we have just discovered, was handed over to the investors illegally. And that, as if it is not enough, they decided to be exerting slave labor on our members. They make them to work 24 hours without adequate remuneration. They employ casual workers without pay them, and even the staff, the existing staff, they pay them as they like. January salary was paid on the 28th of February. February salary was paid on the what? 28th of March. And not only that, the salary was paid haphazardly.
But the company says the allegations were not true. A spokesman, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, insists that there is money to take care of staff's needs.
Basically, the principle, the issue that they are aggrieved about is essentially that of the increment, the 4-month increment that they have been owed, and also the pension, the pension remittances, which is outstanding for about 3 months, and also their Medicare, and outstanding salaries, an issue of pay slips, that we have not been regular in giving out pay slips. And what we have done so far is that as far as the regularization of salaries is concerned, I think we are up to date now. I can speak on record that we are not owing any staff any salary. The March salaries have been paid.
But now the Electricity Workers Union is going ahead with the planned shutdown of power supply to Kaduna State if its demands are not met before Thursday, April 23rd.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Affairs, Donyo Koko, says one of the reasons more than 200 Chibok schoolgirls were kidnapped in Chibok, Borno State last year was to present the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan as incompetent. The message posted on his personal Facebook and Twitter timelines. Okupe also alleged that the Bring Back Our Girls group was formed in order to sustain and internationalize the agenda of the incompetence against the outgoing administration. Okupe also claims that one of the reasons President Jonathan lost the election was a national and international conspiracy predicated on the carefully choreographed and assiduously sustained perception. He, however, called on well-meaning men and women of good conscience to dialogue with the incoming administration on what best new approach to employ to find the rescue the Chibok girls. The Chibok girls were abducted on April 14, 2014, and the failure of the federal government to rescue them has been one of the talking points of the Jonathan administration. You're also watching Media News. We'll take another break now. We're back with more stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Outside Nigeria, police in Australia say they have foiled an Islamic State-inspired plot to carry out an attack at a World War I centenary event. Police arrested 5 teenage suspects, charging one 18-year-old with conspiring to commit a terrorist act. The men were planning to target police at an Anzac Memorial event in Melbourne next week. About 200 police officers took part in the counter-terrorism operation in the city early Saturday. Acting Deputy Police Commissioner Neil Ganga told journalists that evidence suggested the suspect had been influenced by Islamic State. One of them, Sanved Bezin, appeared briefly in Melbourne Magistrate Court on Saturday. Police say the second man held on terrorism-related offences is also likely to be charged. A third man, also 18, was arrested on weapons charges, and 2 other teenagers aged 18 and 19 were in custody and assisting with inquiries. And that's it, Midday News. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Bye for now.